Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Cruel Hearts live stream here on YouTube and a second device of your choosing, Prime, hopefully. I'm Director Paul Osborne. We're going to go over the instructions in a minute, how we're all going to sync up. But first, I want to introduce the crew. We've got producer Joe Pizzula. Say hi, Joe.
Hi, Joe. Wait, I'm Joe. Hi.
We have the other producer, Jonathan Brown, also known as J-Dog, heretofore known as J-Dog or Jay. Say hi, Jay.
Hello, everybody.
We have our two of our stars. We have other stars as well, but we have Bonnie Root. Say hi, Bonnie.
Hi.
And we have one Patrick Day.
Howdy.
So here we go. So this is how it's going to work. I also want to thank Dave at Screen Geeks for putting it all together and engineering us. He's the silent partner right now. He's out there. So if you hear a voice coming in going, Paul, you totally screwed that up, it's probably Dave. Although it could be any one of the people here. All right, so obviously, if you haven't seen the movie before, this is going to be chock full of spoilers. This is a running commentary track, but a live one for Cruel Hearts. So hopefully you've seen it. If you haven't, the stream should be available on the YouTube channel for a while, so you could actually go watch the movie without the commentary and come back and watch the movie with the commentary right here. So here's how it's going to work. This is a two-screen experience. We're going to be streaming the commentary live on YouTube, which hopefully you're watching now if you're hearing my voice. And we're going to be streaming the movie on a second device of your choosing. You could be a TV. I have it here on my TV in my living room, and the stream is currently on my computer, but you could do it to Windows on a browser. And you could have the movie playing on one and the YouTube playing on another. We recommend Prime because it's free on Prime subscribers, but however you have the movie, iTunes, DVD, Blu-ray, Google Play, Vudu, you already have it, just queue it up on the device of your choice. I will go ahead and rent the movie now, but don't hit play yet. We want everybody to be sort of in sync. So go ahead, if you haven't already. Bonnie, I know Bonnie Root was pulling it up now. You have it ready, Bonnie?
I got it.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and, whoops, and I went back by accident. See, this is what happens. There we go. Right. So I've got it ready, the play button going. So don't hit play yet. I want everybody to have it ready to go. So I've talked enough. I think probably everybody's got it ready to go, hopefully. Now, one more thing we have to do is sometimes on Prime, it'll play a commercial for another Prime show before it plays the actual movie. Sometimes it doesn't. So we don't want to, and it's always a different length. So we want to make sure everybody's in sync exactly at the same time. And if you get buffered by an ad, it might throw you off. So what we want to do is, the first thing when you play the movie that comes up is the Gravitas Ventures logo. So what I want everybody to do is to hit play, and when you see the logo start to fade up, hit pause, and that way you'll be ready to go. And if an ad comes up, that way if an ad does come up, you can let the ad play and then pause and see the logo. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play on my device, see what happens. And I'm ready. And I got an ad. See, I got an ad for Amazon Original. So here we go. So I'm going to let the ad play, and when the ad's done playing, I'm going to hit pause as soon as the Gravitas logo comes up. As soon as you see the Gravitas logo come up, hit pause. It's still John Krasinski. I got this. See, I would have been totally off in the commentary. I got the whole 60-second ad here. Everybody, is this all making sense, everybody?
100.
Makes perfect sense.
Perfect. Great. Okay.
Paul, you don't care if I nap during this, do you?
Please. So, my wife is asking how many people are on the thing right now. 12. We have 12 concurrent viewers. Yes. So here we go. The Gravitas Ventures logo.
Nice. Thanks, everybody.
There it is.
It's ready to go. And if you're already if you're watching this after the live, you can still do the same thing, sync it up exactly the same way. Okay, I think we're all ready. Is everybody ready?
Let's launch it.
So we do a 10 from 10 countdown.
Let's do a Elon Musk move here.
Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. There we go. We're now watching Cruel Hearts, and the Conspicuous Pictures logo should be up if your movie's playing in NSYNC. My wife Leslie is also the executive producer of the voice of Bonnie. Oh my God! I have my TV muted, and I've got the closed captioning on, and it actually says "struggling" closed captioning.
Nice. That's awesome.
So first thing up here, we have some quotes. perfect since there's a rally somewhere tonight we don't want to talk about.
This is not a political
as
show.
always.
Not a political show.
Non-political show. Although you will get less sick, hopefully, watching this live stream.
I'm waiting for you to send me my
What
popcorn.
font is
Paul.
that, Paul? What font is that?
I don't remember, but I think I downloaded it from the internet in a free fonts folder. I struggled with a font for a long time. So first thing we have up here is the Unbroken 2-shot, which is about 4.5 minutes long. It was originally written to be done this way. Patrick, how difficult was it to play this all in a tube?
Well, I'm a theater actor, so I actually love this stuff. The difficult part for me was Lev and I had discussed keeping it fresh every time, and trying to match, even though we don't have to match, but spoiler alert, when I grab him or when he goes after me and that kind of stuff. So that was the challenging part for me. And then obviously, Paul, do you want to comment on some of the things you saw with the pen movement and matching? Was there any problems with that when you had to go cut it?
No, well, there's no cutting. It's all one shot.
Right.
But it was fun to do all your pen movement in Foley. I did all the Foley for that pen myself. But the worst was actually Alev playing Guy. He's got a leather jacket and he's got zipper and zipper straps and his skin as well, all on the bar. So whenever he touches the bar, it's 4 sounds. It's the sound of the zipper, the sound of the zipper strap, the sound of the leather, the sound of the hand. And he does this the entire time. It took me a month to do 5 minutes of Alev's.
This is the glamorous side of
Had him do it.
filmmaking that nobody knows about.
This was the intention.
Paul-
Was, sorry.
Wasn't this our first day, the first shot we ever did on the film?
It might have been actually, yeah. And it was, I think it was 17 takes, which is the second most number of takes we did on the movie. The first number of takes, the highest number of takes we did was for the upside down shot, which will be coming up soon. But this is the second highest number of takes. But obviously we had to get it right. There's no room for error. You mess it up, you got to go back to 1. So the intention.
Did you use the 17th take, Paul, or did you?
I used the 14.
14th.
Yeah. We got it great. Well, let's see if we can get it better, and then it just started to come apart. So take 14 was the winner. The intention was, this is the first thing you see in the movie. I wanted it to be like, the audience is coming in with no expectations at this point. We haven't told them or shown them anything. So I wanted it to be as if you're sitting in the bar with them and suddenly this starts transpiring in front of you. So it's a very neutral angle. There's nothing, the movie's not giving you anything to side with one guy or the other. It's not giving you a point of view. It's not telling you who's the protagonist and the antagonist. It's just observing these two guys and this thing go down right in front of you. And I kind of like having the audience have to kind of figure their way into this scene. It gives them a little more to do, more to chew on. It's not being spoon-fed, And that was sort of why I did it. And originally, if you remember, I think it was about 6.5 minutes originally. It went on 2 minutes longer. We actually cut the last 2 minutes of it off.
Which the audience is very grateful for.
Yes, it went on a bit too long. He starts in a whole other story or something. I don't know.
I love that it's really not until we're right here where we realize the camera's been moving the entire time.
Slowly, just kind of
It's that-
slowly coming in.
Slowly, like, hey, we're bringing you into this world. Come on this adventure.
Which starts when he grabs. Oh, a cut! Oh my God!
Our first cut.
Oh,
Yeah. By the way, you guys can swear. I think on this, the movie's full of swears. So.
Thank God.
Poop.
There's Rob Hornack, Bill Ecos, and Don Brody all, and also who's the other gentleman?
My father-in-law is in the background. That's Tim Carlson back there.
Yeah. So we have 2 of our executive producers in there, and we have Tim Carlson back there. Now this is not actually in the bar. This is our one and only actual soundstage constructed set in the entire film. Do you want to talk a little bit about where this was and how we built it?
Yeah, so over at the Young Actor Space, Patrick was nice enough to loan us some. What is this room? What's this? The on-camera room now, Patrick? What is this?
This is the big room. Yeah, this
The
is
big
our
room.
big demo room. Yeah.
Yeah, so we basically cut this room in half almost. We built a wall with a door that's that's going to be a fake for later on when these guys are outside. Aaron Larkin, my cousin's cousin, I just call him my cousin, helped us build the set, and we threw in a lot of fun stuff in the background. So Paul hated this after he saw it, but see Patrick in the background doing a blowfish face
Actually,
over
I wasn't.
the left
Patrick was
shoulder.
the one- Patrick was the one that hated it. I didn't.
Oh, he did?
I hated
thought
it.
you hated it.
I hated it.
Now it's all I can see.
It didn't
That's all right.
feel like it was something my character would have ever allowed up in the office, to me personally.
Right.
In a-
But
in
it's kind of a
in
fun. It's kind of a fun thing to have in the background now at this point. But yeah, we threw up some band photos from Virgil. Like there's a little 10 till noon sneak poster in the background.
A nod to the Dave Martin religion.
That's right. I've got the Dave Martin religion. Patrick, you want to tell everybody what that Dave Martin religion is?
We came up with a religion basically over a few hundred beers one night that we were going to start with our dear friend Dave Martin. We were going to make him the president of it. And basically there were no commandments. It was just suggestions. And we called it Dave Martin religion.
So this is our one set. The door that you're actually seeing there, because later in the movie we leave this. There's a door that leads directly outside into the back of the bar. It actually just leads into more of the room. That wall behind to the right there, Patrick, was placed in there. The door there is actually the back door of this young actor space, taken off the hinges and moved here, so it'll match later. So we got a lot of moving parts in this scene, and also really shameful. We needed some extra boxes behind this clutter in the room. So those are the boxes from B&H. Actually, the camera we shot this movie came in, so filmmakers can spot the B of H logo behind them.
The only thing that really needed to be dressed was the entire room except for the carpet, because it was that terrible before I had it replaced. Sorry, Joe, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, Jay, like, you and Aaron did a hell of a job with this office, this setup.
Yeah.
Like, anyone who watches this movie thinks that's just an office. They have no idea.
It was a fun build. I mean, we brought in like an empty keg. It's just like random trash that we basically just brought into this thing.
Here, Patrick, here is some trash in your space.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that file cabinet's from my house. I think this desk actually was part of Young Actor Space from the front office, right, Patrick? Yeah.
Well, that computer back there is my computer from 2009 that I think still worked. Also, the white powder there on the floor, that's not actually cocaine. There was a box of was it like cleaning detergent or some kind of cleanser? I think when an early take, when Patrick threw the door open, it was on top of the filing cabinet. It spilled, it went flying everywhere. And then we're just like, leave it. It looks great. It looks like more unused. By the way, any film I do with Patrick Day, I have to have a shot of him just staring creepily and dementedly right into camera. And there we go, the husband.
Thank you for that, Paul.
These are our drone shots captured without permits in Burbank. Very exciting. It was a Sunday morning early. Okay, so the exterior of Bert's house is not the interior of Bert's house. I think we've discussed this in a few other places. You'll notice the doors, double doors here. When he goes in the other side, those doors do not match. But I think hopefully up to this point, you have not noticed that if you've seen this movie before.
Right.
This is in Tarzana. And then, oh, look, now where are we?
Now we are in Rancho Palos Verdes. We're at Richard and Kate Einhorn's house, which is actually a duplex. So it's actually a much smaller home than the house that we were in.
Right.
But it has a basement, which is kind of cool. It kind of changes up the whole vibe. And actually, Paul did a great shot where he faked where Bert is coming out of a room and going down a hallway. We're going to see that shot in a second. Right here. Boom. He was upstairs earlier, and he just did this like nice little camera move.
Basically, what you do is when you introduce the space, there's sort of the Brian De Palma rule is you teach everybody the layout. So this whole thing of him coming home is teaching us a layout that doesn't actually exist. We're lying with a few cuts. So later in the movie, we can make it look like a house. And there's Bonnie Roots. There she is.
So,
the bed.
Yeah. So this is Kate and Richard's master bedroom, and this we were really excited about this when we found that Kate and Richard were willing. Oh, got the overhead shot.
We got to talk about this. How many takes of this, Jay? Like 50?
40, 50. Trying to get this just right.
And Paul DeNegris and Foxtrot visual effects still had to kind of like do some things to it to make it work.
Turned out very cool.
Turned out very well. And there's Bonnie. Bonnie, we'll talk about being upside down. So Bonnie, how did you walk on the ceiling like this? Were you wearing gravity boots, or are you able to will yourself to suspend in the air?
I'll never tell.
So this shot, the spinning shot, is literally the camera duct taped to the wheel of a
Great.
dolly.
But a moving dolly, not even like a camera dolly, like a
It
dolly
was just a regular dolly with a bunch of spider webs on it.
we found in the garage.
That was a trip. That was masterful use of whatever you can find to make it work.
Well, it's funny. I planned to do it a different way, and Jay's like, "Why don't we just tape it to this?" I was like, "Oh, okay, great."
When in doubt, duct tape.
Jay spent a lot of time finding different devices to put the camera on, like shopping carts or wheels.
It worked out.
Now, Bonnie. So the eggs, were you able to will the eggs to burn on command?
I'm trying to remember how that all went down.
Well, the burner was on. You were just making cooking the eggs as they went.
Swirling some yolks.
Acting.
When you actually see it burn, we put a little bit of olive oil in the pan, put the burner on, and dropped like a water droplet in there, and a massive flame erupted, and we almost burned down our location.
Oh my God! What?
Yeah. So
I don't even remember that.
I waited 5 years to tell that story. Yeah, Jay knows. Totally are okay, but nothing went down. I just took it off the burner in a way. But it's coming up. It's a pretty interesting shot of flame coming up. We didn't use a real big flame. Oh, this is the day that the camera went down.
I was going to say, wasn't this the same day the camera?
It is. Zach Forsman came out and saved the day. So shout out to Zach Forsman for bringing out a replacement camera and repairing the original camera. And then we resumed. We only lost, I think, like, I don't know, an hour for him to get to location. He happened to be.
It felt longer, but yeah, it was probably only an hour and a half.
And I don't know how much was shot with that lens, but I kept joking that hopefully he brought the John Woods lens, which would make me more handsome. Yeah.
So, Bonnie, how difficult is it to work with Patrick Day? He's clearly just standing there and you're doing all the work, all the heavy lifting.
I'll pretend like I'm not here.
Just like on set.
So much pressure.
Well, just trying to see if you have any recollections about this scene. This was.
Oh no, I was referring to what it was like working with Patrick Day.
How drunk were you during the shooting?
Just those eyes, those angry eyes staring at me. I just used that. I just channeled it. I just locked onto it. I mean, this scene was amazing to shoot. It was really challenging, but we had so many long conversations about the backstory, the marriage, the history, like really filled that out. That's the only way that I think, we could have made this scene as special as it was. It really told a lot about their relationship.
I have to say, Bonnie, I love that you went head to head with me on that and all that actor nerdy stuff and history stuff, because I do think it really helped give us that three-dimensional thing. How we talked about how she spent her days.
One thing we talked about, it was in the conception of the script, but it's never mentioned in the movie, is that they had actually lost a child before all this, and that's something that isn't really, again, it's not expressly stated in the movie, but it's there in the material, and it's sort of hanging over the relationship, and that was something I think that in rehearsals you guys expounded upon and talked about also how they met and really dug deep in there. So it was nice when the story of the movie extends off the page and off the screen into territory you don't necessarily see, and it informs what's happening on screen.
Yeah, we set up a lot of stakes for them. They had made so many sacrifices for each other to keep it going, so that it was really like, oh wow, this is not just potentially a lost relationship. It's like so much more.
I think this was day one too, wasn't it, Paul?
Yes, I believe
it may have been the first thing we shot before Lev got there, but I'm not sure. I can't remember.
It definitely was day one, and I remember the struggle with the blood, having to get it thick because it kept getting all watery and pink. It was like I almost wanted to punch the wall myself because I couldn't get your knuckles looking bloody enough.
Now this is definitely day two, and we have Don Brody here. Hello, Don Brody.
Don Brody.
I think this is a Skinny's bar in North Hollywood. So if you want to stop on by, go to Skinny's and go, hey, I saw this bar in a movie. They'd probably be Actually, are they open?
Yeah, I wonder.
don't
I know they repainted since we shot.
They have. They've changed the outside color.
Just the outside. I haven't been back in since we shot.
Gotcha.
I was in there once, but it was right after we shot, so it looked the same to me. But Dawn is has an actual bartending, so she is actually washing those cups, those glasses. She improv that line, "What fresh way, fuck your mother is this?" I thought it was terrific. I actually shouldn't have said she improved it because then I could have taken credit for writing it. But let's face it, it was all her.
She workshopped it with you first.
Yeah. So we're about to see Eddie Jemison and Marion Kerr. Oh, and Sean Russell.
There he is.
Sean Russell Herman. Here's the lighter side of it. Now, remember Eddie breaking a light when we shot this?
No.
We had a light over his head when he entered. And he managed to break it. He managed to drop it or something. And Rob Hornack, that baseball bat was actually silver. And Rob Hornack, our executive producer, came to set, and I put him to work, and I made him black tape the entire thing, so it'll be less shiny and look more ominous.
I think he really liked that. He liked being involved.
Rob is great.
Like,
Rob and Bill are both terrific, and he did. Well, it was funny. I hadn't really had him on set before. This is our first movie together, and I didn't know what he was going to be expecting. I said, if you come to set, you're going to end up getting put to work. It ended up being extra. He ended up helping with props, lighting, and whatever else.
He did everything, all that, and brewing coffee too.
Oh, he made coffee?
Yeah, brewed a great cup of coffee.
I love it. I had your cup of coffee. It was great. I'm always stealing Joe's cup of coffee.
Sure.
So Eddie here from Ocean's 11 and Hung. If you watch him on Hung on HBO, I hear he does a nude scene. I'm sure he's really annoyed that I just said that.
Adding to my queue.
Eddie's terrific.
I can't say enough nice things about Eddie, just as his talent and just as a person. I mean, it's such a joy because I didn't really know him until that first day, Paul. You had boasted about him for quite some time to me, but boy, he lived up to everything and more. Just even in the first day when I worked with him.
I met him at the Austin Film Festival when we were there with Favor, and he was a friend of our mutual friend Zibby Allen's, and he's just a great guy. And I asked him to do this. We almost lost him to iZombie. He was playing the villain in iZombie off and on, and they'd booked him out for all of December right at the last minute, and he managed to work it out with his agent so he could have these 2 days. If you remember, we rearranged the schedule a little bit. We moved this day a couple of times to make sure he could be there to shoot it.
Because weren't they shooting that up in Canada or something?
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. So so it wasn't like it was in town, and he literally had to go and travel and be up there for a significant amount of time.
Old Sean Herman squealing and sweating all day. Boy, we put him through the mill, didn't we?
By the way, Sean is a great actor, and when you take a great actor and you give him a kind of a smaller part like this, I always feel guilty. But we have this guy who can really do something, and we just have him sweating and getting punched. So,
but that's not an easy trick. I mean, he was connected the whole day.
He's terrific. First time in a play at Young Actor Space. I forget which one it was, but he's really good.
Beyond Therapy, which is not this role at all because it's a comedic role. But
exactly,
yeah, he's a tremendous actor.
Tremendous actor, and he was really kind of him to come in and do this part for us. But Marion, however, is doing this monologue here and totally killing it. She did this full bore, full energy, every take, off camera, on camera, every single time. It just kept finding new and better things to do with it. So I shot a couple extra takes to just to see where she'd go.
Then we want to talk about the blood, Paul?
Yeah, it's really a shame to kill Sean. He was a great actor, but for the part, the blood is all digital. Actually, Joe, some of it's digital, some of it's not. Joe, you talk about the blood.
We wanted to try to use squibs. So we had gotten a special effects company to give us some air squibs. So you push a button and the blood shoots out. And we tested it in the morning. I was in the parking lot wearing it on myself and the blood shot out. It looked great. And then during the take, it was like a tiny little stream that did not show up on camera and did not wet the shirt. So it just didn't play as much as we would have liked, but it was a nice experiment to try. And I know Sean was excited about it too. it was a kind of exciting there in the moment.
But the splatter in the face was achieved practically.
Yes, that was practical, and Marion's blouse was practical.
Right.
So we did have some practical to put here and there. Yeah.
I want to shout out to Matthew Modine, who in the Full Metal Jacket diary book describes how he did Private Pyle getting shot in the head, shooting himself in the face, and they really just blasted blood from off screen right at him, and they just cut out the one frame where the blood's traveling into frame, and it looks like the blood's just suddenly there. And it's just a really easy, simple effect that anybody can really do. And Paul at Foxtrot did enhance the effect a little bit with a little bit of a head impact, but for the most part, that's a practical effect. It looks really good.
Yeah. The head wound was the other part, other than the squibs. Yeah, we did that.
Justin is asking how long the shoot was on YouTube, and Justin, the shoot was 18 days. It was 3 6-day weeks. But I think to Patrick Day, it felt like 372 years.
This back of bar stuff that we shot, it was tough for Paul because it was so hard sun. I remember we had to put you under a jacket or a blanket, so you could see what you're shooting.
Yeah, it was super duper bright, and we really couldn't see on the monitor through the diopter anything. And also there's a car repair place like 10 feet behind Eddie's head. Is that correct?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, they were car detailing people then.
Oh, they were car detailing people. So
there were cars coming in and out all the time.
And they said they stopped working for us to shoot because they were fans of Eddie's, apparently, which I thought was really sweet. Did Eddie ever go and meet those guys?
I think he did, and then like 2 days later, those guys came over to me and were like, "We didn't realize what a big star you were," because I knew Eddie. Suddenly, my street credit just really escalated.
Nice. They start detailing your car now.
Well, they're no longer there. But.
Kevin Bacon you up in the roster. So Bonnie, you're back on screen again. Remember this shooting this scene, Bonnie?
Yes.
Yeah, we're losing daylight this scene.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm sorry. Can you hear us?
Yes.
So we were losing daylight when we shot that previous scene. I know we had to kind of, I think we shot the rehearsal, but this was a different day downstairs, and that doesn't seem like it's downstairs, but this actually is in a different floor of the house that we shot in. So you guys want to talk about these scenes at all? Patty, Bonnie?
I'm trying to think. I remember there was we had some funny complications trying to get set up for this. Was it just it was just trying to get in the camera in at the right angle or something like that?
It might have been. We had the light coming in. Daylight's coming in from those windows, and we've got a shade down so it's muted. Then we've got other lights around the room, and we're trying, of course, not to get them on screen. But I think, getting the camera low enough to get the light on you guys was a challenge.
Yeah, there was just something funny. I remember trying to be, in this intimate moment, and then we're also could you just get a little bit of an angle that way, and hold your arm?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you cramp your left arm so that Bonnie's shot doesn't block your face?
Yeah.
Let me put this lens up your nose and go. You're in love.
Right.
Feel it. Feel the connection.
You got this. You guys got this.
But I gotta say, you guys are really good about as long as you can see each other. I think it's what I call the eye rule. As long as you can see one eyeball, you can connect. I've noticed that. I can put the camera right in Patty's face or Bonnie's face, and either one, and as long as you can see the eyeball of somebody, you're okay.
Just one.
As long as it's not yours, yeah.
Although, I have been known to develop quite an attachment to a little piece of tape.
Do they draw an eyeball on it?
If I need to.
Yeah, those have been some of my best relationships.
Me too.
We just passed John Huck, who was playing the Barfly, chatting with Don Brody. We breezed right by him, but I wanted to say John Huck came in and did this improv with Bonnie, and it was really funny, and thanklessly came in and did this thing. So I will thank him now, so it's no longer thankless. Thank you, John. Here we are behind the bar. Now, this is behind Young Actors Space. So we're not actually behind the bar. Movie Magic, once again. This was actually our last night of shooting. And if you remember, we had to wait for the rain to stop.
Yeah, it was raining and cold, which is totally different from the last time we saw the back parking lot where it was boiling hot and full sun.
This is December 22nd, I think. Joe, is that right? Third?
That sounds about right. It's the week before Christmas, yeah.
Right before the holidays, and it was raining pretty torrentially, which gave us a free wet down on the ground, and some free electric shock with the light cables. That was always good. But
it was chilly and we were all giddy, so it was amazing. As soon as we called action, that 11 Patrick, you were able to just turn right on again, as if the weather hadn't happened and it wasn't 2 a.m. It was just you were in the moment. You know.
Well, about that is actually, Pat, if you remember, there was something about the scene that wasn't quite sitting right with you and Alev. There was something about the scene that was kind of sticking you guys up. So while it was raining, we actually went to the rehearsal room and rehearsed the scene. And we actually cut about a half a page out of it, I think, and sort of reworked a little bit of it. So the rain actually gave us a chance to workshop and improve the scene. I mean, I'm really happy with this sequence. And I think a lot of that was due to the fact that we couldn't shoot. We had to stop and think about it more. Or rather than
I am glad we took the time to do that, because I do remember, now that you bring that up, we were trying to iron this out, the movement back and forth.
There was some dialogue that Bert had that was sticking wrong, or it wasn't quite flowing right. And I think when we did the initial rehearsals before shooting, we ended up doing a couple of fixes, but the rain really gave us the opportunity to kind of iron it out. So it was nature providing.
Unless it was just you and I having, performance anxiety from having to deal with what we dealt with Favor, where we was walking back and forth. It might have been the same thing with that exterior parking lot. We were having trouble with that.
So what is with parking lot scenes and having difficulty with what I write? I don't understand, Patrick. But you had lots of conversations for 7, 10, 15, 20 minutes in parking lots?
No more parking lot scenes, Paul.
No more parking lot scenes. Once again, we had to come back to John Huck because more improv goodness we used. That's actually a car. Patrick, where did we get that car?
Well, I had just purchased that car maybe 6 months before. And then
we paid you handsomely for the use of the car, right?
Yeah, big funds for that. Paid for the car. But what was interesting about it was when you asked me, like, would this work as Bert's car? I was like, absolutely, no problem with that. Not thinking that there would be a lot of shots of the license plate. So once I saw that the license plate was being seen, I wrote the state of California and changed the license plate. So that license plate is no longer mine.
Nice.
But what was great about having you drive the picture car is that we always knew if you were on set, the picture car was on set, so we always had access to it. On our previous movie, Favor, we actually, I think you drove that character's picture car as your personal car for the entire shoot.
Yeah, we traded out, didn't we? I think we traded out with the person whose car it was. I gave her my car, and then
it was your car, so it was borrowed. We gave him your car. We gave her. No, I think we rented her.
Oh, did you? Okay,
yeah.
Maybe that's her
car. We rented her a car, and then it's hard to. It's an older car, and in that movie, your character drove a much older vehicle, so that was a way to sort of do it. But it's nice having the actor have their picture car there, because we go, especially when there's a lot of driving in the movie. So we can pick this shot up, pick that shot up. We've got the car right there, along with the performer.
You guys remember this particular night? The dew point was really low, so the car kept getting completely wet, and we had to dry it off. And we had no choice but to use paper towels. And Patrick's like, "That's probably going to go well for my paint job."
Well, and the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and as prepared as J-Dog is, I'm surprised you just didn't have a chamois in the back of your truck.
I know, right?
He's got 6 now.
I'm ready to go.
Great. Thanks. Are you hoarding chamois?
I have behind the scenes footage of Jay washing the car, wiping the car down with the chamois and laughing and dancing, as a matter of fact.
Was I dancing?
I think I was singing the Power Ranger theme song.
That might have been the rap party with Paul.
No, it was definitely out here on location. Whenever anybody dances on set, I try to get footage of it, and I always do a montage of dancing in the behind the scenes piece in the making of. So if you watch the
I need
making
to see it, baby.
the making of this film or the making of Favor, there's always a dance montage. I have Bonnie dancing, I have you dancing, I have Jay dancing, and I have Joe dancing.
I danced.
Oh yes,
I don't believe it.
I
That's
was
CG.
the Joe Boogie is what we call it. By the way, Joe, I see your Tobias is making a cameo appearance.
This is Pickle.
Oh, it's Pickle?
Yeah, it's Pickle.
There's so many.
Toby doesn't like to be on camera.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, he's a never nude, and he's always nude.
What do you think of my employees only sign back there? I patinaed that thing. It put scratches and scrapes and messed
That
up
was
the
nice.
tape.
Dude, there's some incredible patinaing. You even patinaed the no parking for young actor space, no parking for skinnies. I meant to mention that. Nice job.
That's right.
So this scene, so Bonnie, let's talk about this scene a little bit. In this scene, we're seeing Terry played one way, and then we play Terry. The same scene repeats later in the film, and Terry plays a totally different way. A little bit about that, because our assumptions about Terry changed throughout the movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had to work out these really subtle differences, right? It couldn't be super obvious.
Right.
So I know there were two different ways that this is shot. I mean, two different lenses maybe and a different kind of framing.
Yes.
But yeah, it was just, it was an interesting challenge, because it's not like was playing two different realities. I mean, I knew in both, of course, that I had this information, but we had to be sure to calibrate it just perfectly, so that I feel like I'm spoiler alert.
No, go ahead.
People,
I know. I've always been so careful about not giving that away that I feel like scared. I'm having anxiety right now.
Drop the spoilers. Just drop them. Just 11 dies in the end. Get shot.
Yes. Give it away.
Boom.
No, you did it.
But yeah, so because
Yeah, but just playing, like teasing the audience, like playing with them, and like let's not quite give it away. Like maybe there is something going on, like leaving that little bit of room for believability that, maybe she's not who she says she is.
Right. And the first time, and then the second time, really playing a much more honest moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
there's a moment where in the second time it's just so much more raw, like she's terrified. Yeah. And you can see it and feel it.
She's holding a secret in, but we know what that secret is at that point, and clearly it's a different one. So we have this frosted door shot coming up, which in the script is written. It was you see the light around the door, and I didn't know we were going to have to do that digitally, but fortunately, Jay, the location has this incredible frosted door, which really allows this awesome visual opportunity to see the silhouette and to see from both sides. Kind of they can. They can see each other, but they can't see each other. I don't know. There's thematic things happening in there, and it's just so kudos to you for finding this.
Well, I was going to say I sort of kind of jumped the gun when I was talking about this location earlier, right before the overhead shot. This particular hallway, the way Paul described the shot, it worked perfect, because when I saw this glass, I was like, holy crap, we could do this like really cool shadow, shot from one side looking back. And the way Paul edited this shot and just made this shot created such an intense moment in the film. I was so stoked how this turned out.
And it really is. It's such an iconic image with him silhouetted against the door. And it was one in the ad campaign that we kind of almost didn't want to give away. Like there's a flash of it in the trailer, but I just felt like it's so strong. And in the movie, when you see it, hopefully it really feels intense in your hearts and in your throat. That's Jay's high school ring.
William Jennings Bryan High School, Omaha, Nebraska, 1989.
What's your pleasure, Jay? What are you doing with Terry Walker? What's happening?
Well, I'm just some guy.
Loves it.
So, Patty, you hear from your devil horns right here. Boom, there they are.
Boom.
Look at those ears, perfectly placed.
So again, more creepy staring. Every film has to have Pat creepily staring into camera.
That's pretty much the poster right there too.
You know, Paul, one thing I just realized when he's going through the text and looking at those ridiculous names you put in, Lumberjack Man and all this, we didn't have those live on the day, did we? Because I don't think that reaction was.
No.
Those were the ones you'd put in?
It was funny. In the script, there was something, they were different. And Alina, our costume designer, said, are these supposed to read as fake? And I said, no, I wanted to be like, I want the audience to still be thinking that these are legitimate names. And she goes, well, women would never name people those things. They would never, they would name things after physical attributes so they could remember who they're talking about. So I said, well, can you make up the names? So that's
she did that?
Those are all her. All those.
I love her. She is just so terrific. That one.
Yeah, our wardrobe designer Alina Torrens is amazing, and everybody should hire her for everything ever because she.
Yeah, and not only a wardrobe designer, she'll step in as group supervisor. She does anything.
She did everything. She was doing Slate. She was doing. She's amazing. A huge collaborator, and I don't know. As actors, I mean, you guys both work with her one-on-one designing the wardrobe, and. I mean, I really trust her to really zero in on the look of the characters with you guys, and I'm kind of hands off for the most part with the. I mean, I approve everything, but it's all the wardrobe is really all her.
But
she's amazing and really easy to collaborate with.
Yeah, just kind and great. But Paul, you did find the Fred pants, I think.
I did find the Fred pants, but that was in favor. But Jay, you want to talk about where we are now in the movie?
So we're at a place called Weiler's Diner. This is over in it's Canoga Park area.
Okay.
So this guy actually had shot at this location with The Biggest Loser, and the guy that owns this place is just the nicest guy.
Just call this guy the Biggest Loser? Sorry.
I'm sorry?
Just call this guy the Biggest Loser?
Yeah. We shot The Biggest Loser here for a scene where they had to work in a diner. And the guy was just so sweet. And I hit him up when we had this movie, and I told him, hey, we need a diner for 3 nights. I want to know if you're interested. And he literally gave us the keys to this place and said, have at it. You know, he didn't charge us a lot of money. And we shot here for 3 straight nights. And it was great. We had a blast shooting at this place.
I'm glad that you guys turned the French's mustard around, or else we'd get in trouble.
What's interesting, they would make us breakfast every night when we'd show up. Yep. So we'd have like a whole
easy meals.
But out of the kindness of their hearts, like we didn't, we didn't compensate them for it. They didn't, it wasn't part of the agreement. They just did it, which was so sweet.
Yeah, they're really sweet. This is another art department thing. So those mirrors with the lights in the middle, those things went all the way down to the bottom of the window. So we went to Home Depot, bought up some pieces of wood, and then just painted them a very similar color to the benches that were in this diner, just so we weren't looking at ourselves the entire time.
Can't tell. Yeah.
Seeing cameras and lights and boom mics.
Right.
This is, by the way, Melora Hardin's first scene. Melora was kind enough to join us for 3 solid nights. Night shoots in December, right before the holidays. Yay, thanks, Melora. And our one production vehicle was her trailer behind this location, and she was great. She, if those of you who don't know, she was Jan on The Office. She was on Transparent, and she's now on The Bold Type. She works a lot, and it was a real get. And she was really kind to come in and just agree to do this movie and agree to do it with timing. She certainly didn't need to do it. Doing it during the off season at a time when most people are shopping and stuff, go totally nocturnal with us for half a week.
Yeah, and this was the middle of the shoot, if I recall correctly, where we switched to night shoots for about this whole week, and then we went back to some days. But it was really, like you were saying, generous to her and great to have everybody just pitching in for, hey, let's change up our sleep schedule for a week.
Sure.
And take over the night.
Not only is it 3 night shoots coming in cold, with a crew she doesn't know, but also the amount of dialogue she had to do. And the final scene with her in this movie is 14 pages long, and it's just her and Alev back and forth. So it's a lot of talk. There are 9, 10, 12-minute takes that we did, and I'd be like, okay, again. She was there, never complained every time.
I wanted to make a comment about this motel that we were in over in Studio City. We were filming here and we were having a good time, and we weren't real loud. But do you guys remember the cancer patient that was right next door? He got a little upset with us. You guys remember that?
No.
Yeah, he was sitting outside smoking a cigarette. He had a mask, and he would smoke a cigarette every once in a while, and he would complain at us, me and John specifically. And he was a really sweet guy in the end, but for a little while, it felt a little weird that we were bugging him.
I'm so sorry we upset a cancer patient. By the way, Alev's sound of chewing here is I fully the sound of chewing. It's actually me eating a sandwich.
How many
Terry
sandwiches
off
did
to
you go
yoga. She's
wasn't
got to do
working.
her yoga, and then she's got a full day, right, Bonnie? Didn't you have a full day here as Terry?
Wait, was I
Bonnie wasn't even paying attention.
was I teaching back then?
No. But remember, we talked about how you would be like, "This is her day. She gets up, she does her yoga, then she goes shopping, then she looks for something at Macy's or whatever." Bonnie and I came up with this whole history about like Terry's life.
Bonnie, what was it like driving that Jaguar?
Right. Oh, it was really fun. I love doing acting driving.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a special skill.
I can really feel her history, her past in that car as she.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a classic car, like it's so badass.
That was another loaner from my buddy Richard, who let us use his house for Bert Walker's house.
Yeah, so the Bert Walker's house was also the in the way it came home then. But
That's right.
Drive the car from where it is, from the house in the Pacific Palisades or wherever.
Yeah, Palisades.
That house in Tarzan.
Rancho Palos Verdes, yeah.
Palos Verdes. You had to have it towed.
That's right. You couldn't drive it all the way up.
Right.
Paul, was that sign there, or did you bring that in?
We bought that sign on Amazon. And this thing with the please eat yourself, wait to be ate kind of stuff, my kids and I do that. Whenever we go to restaurants, back when we would go to restaurants, we would always do these things. We'd cover up letters to create new things. So I put that in there as kind of a joke to them. And I think at one point we talked about cutting it out. And Joe Pizzula was like, no.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't. I like it. It's really cute. Yeah.
Well, I did try removing it at one point, but when you remove it, the first thing that happens is in the scene is Melora says, "So you can't sleep again?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a terrible line to start a scene on. It sounds like such exposition." I'm like, "Oh, that reveals the poor writing. I better put the scene back." So
it just helps. It just helps drive the flirtation between the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's life. It's a non-story moment where we see them start to bond. Eddie Jemison had one suggestion when he read the script, and it was that he thought that Guy and Grace should actually get it on. That was his suggestion. He wanted to see the scene of that.
Did he have a justification?
He felt that would be Guy revealing his secrets post-coitally, and I thought I didn't think it was necessary, so we didn't go there. But I don't know if Melora's upset by that. I don't know if Eleven's upset by that.
Maybe Eddie's upset by it. We don't know his kinks.
Well, he was, and his character. Eddie's like, "Man, Grimm is there." No, but that was. I thought it was an interesting suggestion. I didn't obviously feel it was necessary. We didn't go there with it, but I felt like the flirtation was enough, and I feel like Guy kind of likes showing off for her a little bit, and likes sort of revealing what he can do and kind of how cool he is to her. But I think he gets caught up in it too much. I don't think he wants to reveal ultimately what he does. But I definitely think he likes sort of stringing her along. He's a lonely character in a way. He's always playing a different person that everybody he's interacting with. And this is the one time we see his character as himself. And that coffee pot, you can read it if you will go back, it says Lingle Brothers Coffee. That's a family coffee company that was kind enough to loan us all the coffee for free on location. And all we had to do was show that coffee pot. It's pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
They also gave us some boxes for the office.
We have our fake IDs in that box. Oh, we don't see them yet. I keep forgetting we were out of order. There's a little shout out to Favor. If that little what you heard on the radio, there was a little Easter egg for the movie Favor. If you haven't seen the movie Favor, go watch the movie Favor on Tubi, which stars Patrick Day in a very different role, and then you can go back and you can watch this again and see what that Easter egg was all about. So this marketplace has been used in a lot of different movies, and one of them is the famous big episode of Barry on HBO. Shot in the exact same location, so I'm pretty proud of that.
Oh, I thought I recognized it.
That's right.
Taekwondo scene.
For that episode.
Bonnie, you want to talk about this at all?
Was this like at 5:00 in the morning?
Yes.
Yes, it was really early.
Early, so that there weren't any customers yet. That was kind of the deal.
Right.
But it was open for business, though.
Yes.
The customers there are actually customers. But there was a different production that shot there overnight, had to clear out before we could move in.
Oh, yeah, they were shooting a commercial or something.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
Field Market actually is very popular.
Through like indie doing it DIY, moments is like putting on my eyelashes in my car or something.
Right. And then the shopping cart dolly we used for all the moving shots and that stuff.
Yeah.
There's Jack when he weighed 80 pounds more.
The actor playing Stu, Jack Gilreath, whose daughter does the song over the end credits, Baby Let's Go, which you can now get on iTunes.
Jack and I work out at the same boxing club.
Is that right?
Nice.
Yeah, I saw him there. I was like in the ring with my personal trainer.
Nice. He lost a tremendous amount of weight since this was shot. So
next time you see him, Bonnie, give him a big knuckle sandwich for me.
yeah, it's really good.
What's that?
I said, next time you see him, give him a big knuckle sandwich for me.
I'll try out my left hook on him.
This is the scene where, so Jay and I went to a festival called Hogfest in Carlsbad, New Mexico.
That's right.
And it was the only film playing there. It was a music festival, biker festival, and there was it was a fairly conservative area. There was a Trump re-election thing happening at the same festival.
Booth.
Now, in this scene, Melora's character mentions disparagingly that her ex-husband is a right-wing neo-Nazi NRA asshole. We're sitting in the theater in this, watching this movie, and this line's coming up, and I realize everybody in the audience is probably on the conservative side of the fence.
Yeah.
Probably have guns on them right now. And we were both like,
Here it comes.
Yeah, this goes. But they actually, nothing happened. They didn't ask about that line, mention the line. They seemed to really enjoy the movie.
Very sweet.
They took it as intended, which is basically that this is a divided country, obviously, and she's on one side of that divide and he's on the other. And that's how she views him. Not to go political, but there, can't pretend this political divide doesn't exist. So he was on the other side of that. Oh, there it is, big time homophobe, neo-Nazi NRA asshole. That's how she describes Stu. So, but again, I think in this scene, Guy is really showing off for her. He kind of likes. I don't think he sees her as a serious potential romantic involvement, but I think he definitely likes the attention. So, and then of course, it spurns her into asking a little too much. I think at that point, he does feel cornered into telling her what he really does in this scene.
Paul, do you think, or is it with Guy, is he showing off, or is he kind of like bored while he's waiting for events to unfold?
I think it's a little bit of
it?
both, but I think he's taken a liking to her, and he's kind of, showing what he can do. Tell me anything, just whatever you need. Great, got it. Boom, go over there. I'll go over there and handle it for you. There's a bit of a, I think there's an ego with his character that he can do these things. And he can't ever really talk about it. That's kind of the whole nature of the secret assassin thing that he does. All
right, the big question is, what was whispered? Did you ever figure that out? Are you ever going to tell anyone, or do you go to your grave with what was whispered here?
He improvised. If you turn the sound up on the movie and listen really close, you can hear some of it. But it has to do with the fact that he has figured out that Stu is HIV positive. And he's talking about Stu's AIDS. don't know. It was completely improvised on his part.
But did Jack know that?
No, I think Alev changed it up every time. But there is a whisper, whisper, whisper track from the set there, and in the mix, when we were first mixing it, it was loud. You could actually hear what he was saying. I was like, we got to bring that down so you don't know what it is that's said. You know, it's sort of meant to be a mystery.
The location really helped play into this the dynamic when he's getting Jack out, because we have the bar in the distance from where he's been sitting too.
Right. Yeah. Sure. That was a big thing, is when we had this location, is where do you put Guy in a way that allows him enough walking room with what's written. It's differently laid out than I pictured it when I wrote it. And I think we tweaked the script a little bit to make it less of a walk, but that was always a challenge. So that you adapt the location to the needs of the script, you adapt the script to the needs of the location. When you don't have the money to adapt the location, you adapt the script. And here's the 9-minute dialogue scene. And again, they did this over and over and over. The takes were about 12 minutes long total. So we could only do about 3 an hour. We do 3 takes, and they'd have to like rest. So we did, I think there's a 2-shot, there's these over the shoulder shots, there's a single, and each time we get an angle, it's a full hour plus resting time. I think in the really tight close-ups, we only did a little bit of the scene. And I think in the side shots, we only did a little bit of the scene. It was just so much to say. They were, fighting going hoarse. Day 3 at 4 a.m, doing 9 pages of talk. So we didn't really cut. We trimmed a couple of lines, but this is pretty much, it's really this long.
Yeah, this monologue that Lev gives to her this is probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
One thing I did notice is that when Alev gets tired, he starts to blink a lot. So try to start counting the blinks. But we hang on Melora maybe a little longer than we should sometimes, just so I can avoid some real blinky action.
Was this another one of the scenes where he's pounding the table?
He's a very twitchy actor, but he only has a watch, his flesh, and the fabric. He doesn't have a zipper and a zipper strap, which make it a lot more complicated. So that necklace that Melora is wearing, her character's name is Grace. She selected that. Someone gave it to her years ago. She selected it from a giant rack of jewelry. She kind of went, okay, this one, this looks right. And she took it to set. And when she was putting it on, she looked at it in the mirror, and it actually says on it, "Hold for Grace." Just a coincidence. Kismet, if you will, that she was destined to play this part. So.
Did she remember where she got it?
I don't think that she did. Here are the side angles I was talking about. I think we only shot the side angles for this portion of it because I knew I wanted to break the scene up somewhere with going to the side, but I didn't want to make them do the entire scene with it. And also, there's a point where you're physically breaking the actors. They're just doing too much talk. A little bit of an aside here. In the film we shot after this, which we're still in post-production on, Fluorescent Beast, I gave Patrick Day a 10-page monologue. And then every other scene he's in, he has at least a 1 to 3-page monologue. So there you go, Patrick. You actually beat this.
Well,
10 pages
that 10-page monologue was some delicious stuff to chew on as an actor. I mean, whoo, is that a fun one?
But it was.
I wanted to kill you when I saw it, and then when I read it, I went, "Oh, I don't want to kill him anymore." I'm very grateful.
Was there anyone to kill me when we shot it?
What'd you say?
Was there anyone wanting to kill me when we were shooting it?
No.
Okay.
No.
So here he is describing what he does, the big turn, the big twist. So spoiler alerts, he's an assassin who infiltrates you through social means and gets you to kill yourself. This is an idea I had for a character in college, actually. So this is an idea I've been toting around for a long time. And I originally pictured it as a TV series. And every season was one assassination. Go in and infiltrate for 12 episodes or whatever it was. And the only other regular character on the show would be the FBI agent putting together this person doing these things. So, oh, there's Patrick back acting.
There's Robert in the
I think-
corner there.
And the smoke that's in the room, I think it's the only time we actually use the smoke, right? Because it kind of like
No, but
billowed.
it's the only time the smoke was out of control. It looks like the building's on fire. It's actually Bert's loins are on fire for his wife. Thinking about her with his wedding ring and everything there.
Oh, Bert.
Bert.
This pushing on Grace and just this monologue is just so good, so great.
And back to our moving shots in a shopping cart. And we have a lot of products here, but some of them actually is product placement. There's a display of Vuka. No, not Vuka. What's the
Zika?
Stevia?
Stevia, that's it.
Yeah, Zika soda, which is kind of to give us tons of natural diet soda.
Fuka was the other beverage.
Vuka was the energy drink. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah, delicious energy drink.
It was.
Shout out to our partners here. So, seeing none of the actors that are currently on the Zoom are in, we'll talk about, and I'll go on for 9 minutes.
Do you remember, was Lev, what he's wearing here, the lumberjack sort of jacket, was that his, or was that something you got for this movie?
I believe that was his. And all that wardrobe is also Melora's that she's wearing. And actually,
Right.
I envisioned the character as much more together, much more precise. And I remember Alina, our wardrobe designer, calling me and saying, Melora's got a different way to go. And we got on a group call, and she really envisioned the character as much more kind of, I don't know, like more patchwork in a way, more kind of a mess, and starting to get a life together. And I really like it. I really like what she did with the wardrobe. I really like what she did with the character. She's playing it a lot more goofy initially than I envisioned. And I think what that does is when it becomes more serious here and we really watch your heart break, it's really unexpected. Because if the character almost comes off as comic relief at first, almost disposable. And then as you begin to peel the layer back and see this real person there, this real wounded soul, I don't know, it had more impact to it. And that's all Melora. That's all what she brought to set and what she brought to the character. So you know what? Watch him blink. Watch him blink, 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 blink. I'm like, okay, I better cut to Melora because he's starting to really blink away. So something else about Lev. When he gets tired, he starts to blink. And Bonnie, in the scene you have with Lev, where he's chasing you around the the Bert's living room, the Walker living room. Once again, I'm on you a lot. Thank you for giving me a good performance because he's blinking.
Oh, that was so late. We were getting so tired.
That's why.
I had to eat like 27 bags of gummy bears just to keep going.
Right. Lev's a wonderful actor, but and he's pretty. Some actors have little ticks. He's pretty tick free, but he does have this blinking thing that happens when he gets late, when he's been using his eyes a little bit too long. So this is the torture of Lev by me coming out on screen. Here we go. Her heart is completely destroyed and shattered. I really love what Melora did here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, I think he really regrets it. I feel like he didn't. The show off backfired.
The box.
Give a shout out to Russell Southam, who in Australia, an Australian filmmaker who designed all these fake IDs for us. These are really, really, really close replica of what these agencies' IDs look like. And the trick was he made these and manufactured these in Australia, and then had to ship them internationally and hope that Homeland Security didn't pick them up. So on the back of these IDs, it says that these are props, that these are not real IDs, and they will be destroyed upon completion of production. And there was a whole, he did all, not only did he make these IDs, manufacture them and ship them internationally just to be a part of this production, but he also researched all the legality involved and made sure they weren't smuggled into the country. They came in legally and with the full cooperation of the US government, because potentially these are, fake FBI badges, fake FBI IDs. And Homeland Security and IRS and all the other ones.
There's
So,
Lester.
Bonnie, how cold were you during this shoot?
Oh my gosh, the girls were so sweet. I was freezing. I don't know where that wind came from. It was just like this like icy cold. My lips were turning blue and I was chattering, and we were like wrapping a blanket around my legs and little hand warmer things.
Yeah, if you look close, you
What?
If you look close, you can see you shivering.
Can you?
Yeah, and the wind was blowing. It's like you see the plants all blowing in the background and stuff. It was pretty cold.
Well, and it's always 10 degrees colder in the Panty Palace.
Correct.
Oh my God, the Panty Palace. That's what it was called.
Yeah, the interior of that exterior location was called the Panty Palace. Jay, you want to talk a little bit about the?
A friend of mine I work with in reality TV, Paul Pierre Benoit, actually lives in that house, and they loaned it up to us. I can't remember who paid them or not, but anyway, we had a good time. We had a barbecue there. You walk in the front door, and there's just a bunch of panties hanging on like this weird lattice wall. Very bizarre situation.
Bizarre is a good term.
We had a question actually come over YouTube from John Bernardo. He asked how many drafts of the script did it take to get the 14 pages of dialogue right. I think about, I want to say 2 good drafts to get it pretty close, and then it was I'm not sure how many drafts past that, kind of tweaking it, refining it, but not too many, maybe 4 or 5 total to get it where I wanted it. And then of course, when we did the rehearsals, the actors refined it even more, found what the natural pauses and beats, and kind of cleaned it up a little bit. So Bonnie got to fight some water against her mic on this scene.
What?
Well, there's the water going on the sink right next to your lavalier mic.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for speaking up, because we didn't have to replace that dialogue. So Bonnie, this was a similar scene to I think this is like a 7 or 8 page scene, and
yeah,
all you two, and there's a lot of running around the room. We shot, I think, a master of it from like the corner, so you guys could find all the places. But then it was like an entire night of shooting in there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I mean, hence the blinking that happened later. It was a lot. It was
Well, that wasn't you.
No, not me. I'm just saying.
And that was only 11 the last couple of takes.
It was a dance for sure.
You were smacked out on gummy bears, right?
But getting that, yeah, I'm just like, gummy bears. Yeah, I remember doing the master though, and like that was just a kind of a bear, like figuring out exactly where we should sort of, chop it up, and like what each environment we should be in for what moment. Like this, well, I don't know exactly where you guys are. Something happened with my screen; it froze. Are you at the turn where I turn?
You've turned. You're about to leave the kitchen. The characters walk into the kitchen.
Like that moment. I remember that was kind of trying to figure out, like where that would go.
Right. So Justin Main asks on YouTube, did the actors have their own? Do we have a makeup person, or do the actors do their own makeup? So,
I have a mixed answer for that.
Well, go ahead, Bonnie, answer that question.
Well, the amazing Stephen Bowman was, of course, my makeup artist most of the time. And then some days I did it myself. I replicated the look that he said.
And then Melora had a makeup artist as well, but everybody else, I think, did their own makeup and hair. Patrick,
aside
Davis
from some
hair.
blood.
Yeah, I didn't do the blood. Joe did the blood, but
That's true.
I did my hair. I do it twice a week, fresh razor.
Actually, Joe, we did have a makeup artist for the blood work, like the bruising, all that stuff.
For Sean, yeah. It was the same. She also did Melora's makeup.
That's right. Yeah, but for the most part, this is something in these low budget micro budget movies that often actors are left to do their own makeup. So thanks to Stephen Bummer for coming in and doing yours, Bonnie. Not that you could have done a great job, but we loved having him on set.
Yeah, it gave us an
he was
opportunity to get to hang out with Steven too.
Stephen's a hilarious guy and did a great job.
Oh my God, he's so funny. But now, it was a good experience doing it myself because now that's what we're going to be doing now.
Honestly, you matched what he did. Oh yeah, with COVID, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying is like, that's going to be kind of the new, your own, at least your own touch-ups and stuff, right?
Yeah. Now, by the way, that phone number we just passed, that's a real phone number. That is the Conspicuous Pictures answering machine. So if you call, you'll probably get a voicemail treating you to, thank you for watching Cruel Hearts. Please go watch Favor on Tubi or other film.
Didn't we have like 5 crew members like write that number down, and we picked mine in the end? We wanted to see what was going to be the most interesting handwriting.
I think it was. Whose was it actually? Was it Alez?
It ended up being mine in the end.
Oh, it was yours.
It just made me laugh that we kind of made everyone else do it. Like, let's look at this. Let's look at this.
Well, and J-Dog is also very well known for his hotel art.
Yeah,
that's right. Especially in the next movie.
So, Bonnie, to me, this is a tremendous sequence for you. We just had the scene we talked about, the other side of the dining room scene.
Mm-hmm.
You're really playing the much more vulnerable version of what your character's going through, and then this is your side of the scene where he confronts you in the bathroom or confronts you through the bathroom door. And it was really just Bonnie, myself, and the sound guy crammed into this bathroom. And terrific job finding, when you have dialogue, there's a lot of things to hang on, but there was no dialogue. So it's really finding these orchestrated beats that you have, learning it like a dance almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dance with your face and your hands, and finding a way to do it fresh every time. And terrific work here.
This is one of my favorite scenes to do. There's just something, I always love scenes where characters are by themselves having a private moment like this. Just tells you so much about who they really are. And just that subtle work, like the breaths. I remember that turned out so cool, the way the breaths and the faucet drips became kind of orchestrated to build that tension.
I think it's funny when we were shooting it, the drips were actually going while I could hear them while we shot it.
It was a natural sound, yeah.
Yeah.
So we replaced the drips, and it's almost like music in the scene. And if you watch, they don't quite match what's happening on camera. But the idea for using them that way came from shooting this. Just us in the room with those drips when you turn the thing off, doing your close-ups, was so intense without any other noise. And I thought that's the way this scene has to be, should play on screen. And so stopping the music, having it play this way, really was inspired by what happened on location.
Oh, that's so cool.
Very De Palma-esque to have the two shot there with the poor man De Palma. It's me. And also choosing how much of the show of Patrick storming away, because you don't want to make it look like he's a little kid sent to the sent out of the room. You want to be kind of mysterious what it looks like and not really be sure where he goes. Bonnie, you're so good in this. As a writer too, giving characters private moments I think is really important, and all 3 of the lead characters have significant private time in the movie. So Bonnie, here you are.
Because we don't know where Bert's gone right now. It adds so much tension to this moment.
Right, he's somewhere, and I really wanted to have you see you walk to the door from inside, but of course the doors don't match. So you walk off camera and boom, we're now in Tarzana. Very different door. And I'm like, don't open it too much.
You don't want to see the panties.
So it looks like it's actually the same interior, the way you're holding the door, but it's totally not. Here we go. And there's Bert sulking some more. And this is actually coming up on where Patrick Day could have run me over if he chose to. Patrick kindly didn't decide to end my life because he comes right at me with the car, and he could have taken me right out. Whoop, could have happened. Oh, there's Bonnie reacting to my being killed.
I was just following direction.
Oh, you
There's
flipped
the phone number
the
again. Conspicuous pictures, and a voicemail. So in this scene, you're actually talking to Alev on the phone, right, Bonnie?
Yes. So work that out.
So when we shot Bonnie's side, she's actually talking to Alev, who's actually home. And on Alev's side of the conversation, he's actually talking to Bonnie. And they'd rehearsed this scene before we shot pretty extensively. So it really helped. It made it like so easy to cut together because you guys were totally in that same groove. Was there
to do that? I don't think I've ever had that work out that way before, in a film where it's always I'm either talking to nobody or somebody's like feeding me the lines, but
right.
You get to do it that way. Scene.
Well, I just felt like, it's such an emotional scene, especially for you. And it felt like you should be playing off an actor. And that's one thing that, even in auditions, I always try to have an actor off, reading with whoever's auditioning with the actor, because you get acting then instead as opposed to auditioning. In this scene, certainly, I think the day that we shot, I think it was his side. You were unavailable. We tried to call you, and we were ahead of schedule by a few minutes, so you weren't ready yet. So I think we did a take with Alina doing the lines off camera, I think, just to get it going. And then I think you came in on take 2, and it was really amazing to see the difference on Alev's side of the performance as opposed to reading with Alina, who's just reading off the sides. It really is a lot stronger, and he's not even doing the emotional heavy lifting in this scene. That's all you.
His manipulation is so just on time, though. It's just the places where that little smirk and his excitement.
Yeah, and he's just bringing it back.
Oh, it's so good. I'm just looking at his face. He doesn't he's ready to seal the deal.
Alev said the secret to this character was to make everything really small, to make everything really tiny, so that he could really play the subtleties of it.
Yeah.
We have a question over here on YouTube. Justin Main asks, were the zooms done in post? Justin, yes, they were. All those slow zooms were done in post. You probably could tell, but it's much easier to control how fast you're going, when and where, and when you recut a scene, sometimes you want to zoom in a different place. So yeah, all done in post.
Want to give Donnie some love on the Denzel tier. Bonnie some love on the Denzel tier for sure on that. It's good work, Bonnie.
What side and at what velocity?
You can actually shoot tears out of your eyes like bullets, right?
Yeah.
If need be. Like we did
right, left. Pew, 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 pew.
Like the rain was drying up on this one thing, so you just shot it on there and you continued to cry. Isn't
that what cracked the lens one day? Is a tear shot out?
No, that was Patrick's nude scene. We had to cut it for obvious reasons. So once again, we're back in this location, and once again, this was the same day we shot. No, this wasn't the same day we shot the shooting in there, was it? We came back to this day.
We came back.
We were fortunate that Inactive Space was actually dark during this time. December, there were no classes, right, Patrick? So we were able to kind of set standing for the entire.
Yeah, we had just finished our demo classes.
Right.
So it was actually perfect timing for that.
Also, shout out to my buddy Joe Abrascato for some of those band photos in the background there.
Awesome.
He's a professional photographer in Phoenix.
That shot of the hotel is handheld. I believe Jay shot that. It's pretty dang amazing. It's pretty dang still. We're standing in Perkins Square.
I thought it was you, me, and Andy. I can't remember who used the camera.
We all took a turn, and you got the steadiest hand. But we completely stole that shot in downtown LA. It's not the hotel that the interiors are in. The interior hotel is a hotel in Long Beach. Is that correct?
It is in San Pedro.
San Pedro, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
San Pedro.
That was the exterior. This is the San Pedro Hotel here, but the exterior we showed is the Bonaventure in downtown Los Angeles.
This is a Best Western.
Yep.
In San Pedro. Shout out to Best
Yep.
Western, because they've hooked us up on a couple of movies now, and they're always
They're
really
great.
cooperative, really excellent, and work with our budgets beautifully, which are meager.
Yeah, they're great. They're much better than the so-so Eastern.
So, fun fact about the room, the 427, which is the actual room number of this room. 427 was my college dorm room number for all 4 years.
No
So-
way.
Yeah,
Hey.
I don't know. It's weird. That's a number circling my life here.
Weren't you the RA too?
I was not the RA.
Oh, I thought you were the RA.
I was the. Thankfully for the young students coming in, I was not guiding them to do anything. I did have the only VCR on the floor, but I digress. Anyway, so we're really glad that no one noticed the rug on the rug in the room.
We talked about that in Nashville, Joe.
Yeah.
we did.
My least favorite thing about that entire scene is just looking at that well-placed light carpet in the
Anytime
middle of the
there's a
room.
thriller- Anytime there's a thriller and you walk into a room and there's a rug on a rug, you
Look
know there's
around.
blood later, and they need that rug for cover. So there you go.
Rug on a rug.
And we're back in the scene here. This scene, I think we hit this scene only with, I think we had a soft light and we had practicals in those bulbs, and that's it. That's all that's lighting that scene. We had a China ball on a C-stand, and otherwise it's just the room lamps, which we replaced the bulbs with our slightly brighter LEDs, and that's it. And we first started shooting in this room. Our gaffer was not available to light it, so I'm actually really thankful this simple lighting scheme worked, because otherwise we would have been out of my knowledge depth. That's for sure.
That's my artwork on the wall behind Bonnie as well.
Yeah.
Probably
Excellent.
still wet at the time.
Do you want to talk
It
about
probably was.
how that art was achieved?
Literally bought that. I think it was at a Michael's that same day, a few hours before we had to start shooting. And I was, I'm sorry.
The canvas. You bought the canvas, not the art.
I bought the canvas. And I bought the spray paint, and literally just did it in the parking garage.
Did you use the carpet that's on the floor to stop up the blood?
There's a spoiler alert. There's blood. There's blood.
Exactly. What?
What blood?
Great job on that slap, Bonnie. By the way, Unilev you're actually slapping him.
I mean, it's orchestrated a little bit. He was like, "Slap me, just slap me."
I was going to shoot it
I'm
away.
a
But
professional.
yeah, shoot it away. He's like, no, hit me. I want you to hit me. All right. I think I hurt your hand, Bonnie, when I placed the gun in it when we were rehearsing it. I showed Alev how to put the gun in your hand, like roughly. I think I did like this, and I think I hurt your hand, so I apologize.
Oh, I have a permanent injury now.
Parkinson's comp.
Now that I think of it.
You can tell the story like Quentin Jaws. Let me show you something.
Look at the Christmas lights.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
This is shot at Christmas time, so you can see the Christmas. It's actually the second film that I've been involved in where we shot it in a hotel at Christmas time. If you see 10 till noon, there's a scene in a hotel lobby, and there's a big Christmas tree in the corner. I think it must be a recurring theme.
Was this near Christmas? That's so crazy.
Yeah, it was like this was like December 18th or 19th or something. We shot,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I see all the.
we shot 3 weeks leading up to Christmas. There was an advantage in this is that most of the town is closed down. So if you need equipment, if you need anything, the shops are open, but no one's really shooting. Young Actor Space also was dark for the most part, so we were able to use that with our standing set, with our production hub, and it ended up being a real advantage. And also, Melora was available because it was December; nothing was shooting. So,
Paul, did you have a temptation at all to rewrite any of it to fit at Christmas, or were you just it was fine to just let it go?
I let it go. I didn't. I
Yeah.
felt it wasn't.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but Bonnie, don't you slap much better during Christmas time?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm feeling the spirit.
Right.
The Yuletide abuse. They have to put on their naughty list first. So there's the big door scene. Now, right here, when before the door opens, the music stops. We hear Terry breathing. The soundtrack actually drops to absolute silence. There's no ambience. It all goes away. There's nothing on the soundtrack but dead silence. And that was something that Sam Raimi did in Evil Dead 2 before a jump scare. I was like, we can do that. I think we can get away with absolutely everything going out. And it was actually difficult to convince the mixers to go completely like nothing, no sound whatsoever. But I think it works. Like you don't notice everything goes away. And here we are. This is the big. Oh! You're beating him up. Oh, and there's a carpet there. I wonder what's happening on the carpet. I hope there's no blood spilled.
That kick got him right on that carpet. Nailed it.
So, Patty, any trauma doing this scene for you?
No trauma. I think we had difficulty with the door that kept locking, didn't it, Paul? Do you remember something about that? Like,
Yes.
we would start to open it, and you'd say action, and then it would be open, and then it would close, and then it would jam or something. What was happening then? Do you remember?
I think we just had to kind of you had to have it kind of popped open, so it would fly open, and I think it was something
For the timing, because if you put the key card in, it ruined the timing. I remember there was a little bit of a dance there.
right, but it ended up being it wasn't too challenging, but yeah, sometimes it would like you action, you hear thump.
And for me, we really don't know Bert the way everybody else has known Bert, except in the very first moment before Lev tells him what's going on, and in the very last moment after he kills Lev.
Yeah.
Because this guy is on a whole downward spiral, film noir, from the moment the movie starts till the end,
He's really not himself until here. And these fantastic effects by Foxtrot.
I remember those guns had a lot of trouble that day.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
Kept jamming.
Kept jamming.
Yeah. So a lot of I think Bonnie, I think your gun was working fine, but yeah, Pat's kept jamming, and so
It would in rehearsal.
Digital.
Oh, I remember that. There was like a couple of really funny moments where we were like, yeah, and he's all, no.
Here's my little cameo.
Hello.
I
love that. Hello.
I wanted it mixed a lot lower so you really couldn't tell what I was saying, but the conductor convinced me it was funny to bring my voice up. I think Patrick's carrying the scene though for sure. All that blood is practical blood that's been enhanced digitally by Paul Denegris at X-Ray Foxtrot, and it's pretty dang impressive.
Yeah,
he did a great job. He didn't even ruin the fake carpet we brought in.
That's right. I returned that.
Amazing.
OxyClean.
He did get blood all over the lens. It's pretty horrifying.
And we did get blood all over Alev. I think he said for about 2 or 3 days afterwards he could not get it off.
Yeah, he was scrubbing himself.
Well, the thing was, what's crazy is that we didn't, as it turns out, we didn't use enough blood. So Paul Denegris with visual effects had to go in and basically he duplicated the blood that was there and I guess took the practical blood and kept, so we had to add like 4 or 5 times more blood. So we'd actually use on set practically the amount of blood that was required. The Lev would just still be a sticky goo. And here's a tender moment. They're going to kiss. It's going to be absolutely romantic, and nothing could possibly interrupt this tender moment between soulmates. Oh, I totally mistimed it. I was going to try to lead right up to
how it always is.
interrupt the kiss.
So romance.
The romance. This was great because there were motorcycles in the background. Blah!
Oh, yeah.
And I think the take that we used of the gurgling was actually him just choking. I cut away and cut back.
Oh my God.
And that blood coming up behind him, that's pooling blood, that's all digital. And what's great is that it actually stops as he dies. It actually stops moving. And I thought, that's an amazing idea. So I called the visual effects guy. I said, it's fantastic. I had the blood stop moving as he dies. And he goes, oh, you like that? Good. Apparently that's a mistake. Apparently, I just really liked it. Well, thank you everybody for watching.
Hey!
Thank you, Paul.
Credits, you can see where Burt Walker joins the Avengers. Pretty cool.
I had him going to billions right after this. So he was going to go make the best deal he can with Axe Capital.
If anybody on YouTube has another question, we can sit here for a few minutes and answer them. A Q&A after the fact if you like. But otherwise, we can keep chatting over these credits. Piper the Cat, official paper shredder.
Piper the Cat.
Foxtrot X-Ray visual effects. Want to shout to them and all the players.
Oh, Foxtrot.
In the end credits, Alev's character is just because we never know his name. We call him Guy for shorthand, but he's in the script. He's just listed as young Guy. In the credits, he's listed as just some guy, and in the film, he only identifies himself as just some guy. So he's just some guy.
That guy. He's that guy.
He's that guy. Well, thanks for coming in, you guys, and participating in this little Q&A. Thank you for watching at home there, and I think this should be up on YouTube for a while if anybody wants to check it out more. Thank you, Dave and Screen Geeks for hosting.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Dave.
Dave. Appreciate it, Dave.
And Paul, when
Oh, thank you so much.
when do we shoot?
When do we shoot? Coach will hopefully tell us when. Justin Main asks on YouTube, how many members on the crew most days? Jay, you want to answer that?
We ranged anywhere from 8 to 12 at the max. I think 12 was probably our biggest day.
12 crew.
Or maybe maybe at the Panty Palace we might have had a few extra bodies there.
I think the largest day of number of people was about 16.
Yeah.
That was our largest day. Was that big?
I think so, and it may have been the day with extras at the bar. I'd have to look back at the call sheet.
Is that cast and crew?
Yeah.
No, cool. No, I think the smallest we got was just a couple. I think I did something with just me and one or two actors, right? The smallest we got. But for the most part, crew was around.
Well, the drone day, it was just 4 of us.
Which day? Which day, Joe?
The drone day.
The drone day was just 4 of us, I think.
Oh, that's
you,
right.
Patrick, and
And coffee. Yeah. And Paul got up early and brought us all coffee. You remember that?
Yeah, he even brought me coffee, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But
Paul,
8
you
to 10
end
for
with
the most part.
You end with 4 Kiki. Do you want to talk about that?
Kiki's my grandfather, and he passed away, I think, while I was writing this movie, and so it's dedicated to him.
That's awesome.
And by the way, the drone was operated by Joshua Caldwell, who is another filmmaker. His film Infamous is actually out right now. It was just released on iTunes and Amazon and everything else. So feel free to go check it out. It's getting a lot of good buzz.
Yeah, it was great of him to come out that day to help us out.
Yeah, it was awesome. Well, he was paid, so I was remember explaining to him shooting the drone. I said, we don't have permits. I hope that's okay, because he had just directed a series for Hulu or something. He was indie adjacent at that point, really, and I was hoping you wouldn't mind the complete indie guerrilla-ness of it all. Hoping he's not worrying about his drone getting taken away. But he was like, oh man, no, that's the best way to do it. Totally sneaking it. He was totally down with all the clandestine stuff. And I think we were shooting, it was like a Sunday morning at 7 or 8 in the morning, shooting a drone. It's flying past, and I think one person complained, right?
We had one person come out and go, can you keep it down? We're trying to sleep. But we were so quiet, I think it was actually, they came out after we were done shooting.
Oh, is that what it was?
We were talking in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yes, no problem. See ya.
Yeah, we were like, thank you so much. See you, sorry. And it was not a big deal at all.
Then I think we got breakfast.
But I'll never forget, seeing that for the first time, going, it just so makes your movie feel like a bigger budget film instantly. Could you imagine hiring a helicopter and a crew and doing that just for that shot?
The drone revolution is pretty incredible. in terms of just what you can do and how you can do it and what the kind of shots you can get. If you watch Ozark on Netflix, like all those shots above the forest, I guarantee are drones, and they're amazing.
For sure.
So thank you everybody for tuning in. Jacqueline Austin, thank you so much she said awesome film. I was inspired. Thank you so much. Brianne Chance says I would love to see a format like this live at the Phoenix Film Festival. I hope the Phoenix Film Festival is live one day.
There you go.
Yeah.
Missing our film festival buddies out there in the world. Thanks guys for coming in. I hope everybody out there is safe and healthy and staying sane and so forth. And whenever you want to say goodbye to the viewers.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Saturday night with us.
Thanks for watching, guys.
We'll do it again soon.
Appreciate it.
And once again, thank you for Dave at Screen Geeks for engineering this and making this all possible.
Thanks, Dave.
I guess that's it. So, bye.